Hi traders, and welcome to the Technical Analysis Market Watch on Friday the 13th of September. So I've seen some really good moves this week on the indices and some of the major currency pairs. So let's jump into the analysis and see if we can identify any trades for today or early into next week. All right, we'll start out here with the Aussie USD. And we can see that we had a pretty good sell-off towards the end of last week, and it definitely hit the level that we were talking about last week in terms of, well, that was basically in the middle of the week, around here, and that sort of 66.20. It was a really, really good move down from what was a previous high. As you can see, that level was tested and it was starting to roll over. So no real surprise that it did actually fail to go higher. It was certainly giving us plenty of wick action to indicate that. But look, it did what it needed to do. That was to take profit. Obviously, a very strong roll reversal zone. You can see right through here, very heavy resistance and support right through this zone. But it did see a really big kickoff from that level. It turned around very quickly and then pushed up past the moving averages. So it broke the resistance above in basically one candle. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes to now. But more than likely, the fact that we've seen a test of that level, if we get above that sort of 67.50 area with a daily close, it may test these highs again and give us a scalping opportunity up around that 68-cent mark. So pretty good trading. You have to go into a pretty small time frame to really take advantage of that move, but it certainly happened. And as you can see, once you got going, you got the series of higher highs and higher lows. And then you were off. So that was a 15-minute chart. Good trading on the Aussie USD. But yeah, hit the levels. And now, like I say, if we get a close above 67.50, we'd be probably looking at opportunities up to around that 68-cent mark again. Scalping opportunities, really. We don't really want to be looking at short opportunities unless we get a roll over here and we get a pause at around that 66.80, which is also a very strong zone above where that previous resistance sat. All right, over to the US dollar CAD now. And yeah, same deal really, in a sense that it moved up early in the week, hit the target. You can see it's trading in a very, very strong band at the moment. So very easy trading really on a lot of these major pairs because they're really just bouncing between very key zones. You can see how much bouncing action we had right through this channel here. Same with this channel here. And all this is doing is replicating that. You can see that we found support where we needed to find support and resistance exactly where you would expect it to be. So that was an easy target to get to. Hopefully you're able to take advantage of that. Look, where it goes to from here, it's interesting really. If it starts to roll over and trades below the 20 moving average early in the week, I'd probably be looking for downside weakness again down to probably the level around that 134.50, which is proving to be a pretty solid level. If we get a break up above and we're trading above 136 on the daily early in the week, I'd be starting to look at moves back to the middle of this channel and at a stretch to the top of the channel. But that's going to be momentum dependent. And of course, the smaller time frames are going to be key there to give us what we need to know. But good trading here on the CAD. I know that, yeah, quite a few who got that. So it was a good move because the target was very, very straightforward. But now we need a daily close above 136, or if we see a daily close below 135.50, then we can start looking towards that 134.50 as the next move. But very tight bands that it's trading in, and it has been very consistent. All right, over to the US dollar yen. Well, this has been the gift that keeps on giving, really, that the levels just keep getting hit. Like basically, yeah, this was an obvious sell-off at around that 146, like we said the other day. Once we pushed down and actually went down all the way down to 141, hit the target, bounced off it a little bit. Look, it's a very, very strong target. You can see here, if we roll right out, it's very, very heavy, heavy support here at this point. It was resistance. It's a roll reversal zone. It's been fantastic in the way it's actually got there, but I'd be cautious underneath it now. I wouldn't be jumping in both barrels because, you know, it is very, very strong support and it has seen an extraordinary fall very, very quickly. So hopefully you're able to take advantage of this move because this was a very easy move from the 20 moving average down to here. But now it's really a bit of a wait and see. If we get support at this level and we start to bounce off from this level, then we'd look for a move up to that 120 or the 20 moving average again, which is around that sort of 144-ish area at the moment. But if we get a break below, I would probably be just watching it with caution and waiting for a bit of momentum to keep continuing and see a series of lower highs and low lows below that level. I'm very, very cautious around that 141 to 140 area. It's certainly an important zone for it. and you don't want to get caught up in a very big bounce off. So if we see some rounding action here, we start to see a series of higher highs and higher lows. Aim for this level here around that 143.80 to 144 level, which will be about where the 20 moving average will be if it happens in the next few days. But other than that, probably just wait for the consolidation to kick in. All right, so we'll move on now to the dollar index. And this again has been a bit of a fantastic trade. Actually, last week touched the bottom again here around that sort of 160 level, then bounced all the way up to the 20 moving average around that sort of 101.80, hit the 20 moving average and started to sell off again. It actually got a little bit higher. Look, this whole zone is pretty important, and we saw a weakness there. It's starting to, in my mind, it looks like it's starting to weaken off the momentum on the way down. And even though we saw a little bit of a sell-off here, I'm still relatively comfortable if it does go long from here as well. I don't think it's completely over for the dollar index yet. If we get below the 101, again, I think that's when we start to probably think maybe we're going to test the lows and potentially break lower. But as long as it can maintain its levels above this 101, I think we might be okay. It's one of those ones where you've really got to just use the momentum of the smaller time frames to guide you in terms of which way you're going to trade. The euro is obviously the one we want to be trading here, but we'll go to that in a second. But like I said, it hit the highs, and this is the level that you would expect it to stop. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did turn around here, find a bit of strength, and push up above the 20 moving average again. Remember, this doesn't have to run with the basically with the indices, so this can go up as much as the indices can go up. So it is its own beast. And just be mindful, this is a very, very strong level for it. If it's trading below the 101, again, I think we start to push down to the lows and potentially look at a break of that level. But while it's in this area, I'd be looking for smaller, higher high, higher low time frame changes and look to trade it back up to around that 101.90 to 102 level. The euro is the one you'd want to be trading, of course, bang straight on our support. You can see we've got very, very heavy roll reversal at around that 110. It hit it to the basically to the pip and then reversed straight off it. Pretty straightforward. If it's trading above the 20 moving average next week, look for opportunities up to around that 111 and even probably more exaggerated up to around that 111.80 depending on the momentum. But if it's trading underneath the 20 moving average, so if we get through today's session and it's trading underneath this level here, then look for a test of that 110 and a break of that. We would be looking down to around that 109.50. All scalping at the moment, nothing, not looking for big long-term positions. I think this is a very strong scalping opportunity. We're still in a downtrend. We've got a high, a lower high, a lower high, and a lower low. Still, as you can see, the lightning bolt is there. So even though it has bounced off this level, it is still technically in a downtrend. So just be mindful that it can certainly roll over here. If we're trading underneath the 20 moving average, I'd be looking for a move down to that 110. All right, and the S&P 500, look, a big move this week. Obviously, it sold off from all of that consolidation a few weeks ago, down to around that, 53.80. It was not a bad move down, actually. Like, it's a pretty strong move for the most part. Started the week pretty weak, but then off basically from Monday onwards, all it's done is go up. Had a couple of big wicks here that certainly pushed the momentum up in that direction. So look, while its momentum is definitely with it and it's trading above the 20 moving average, I'd be looking at moves up to the 56.50 area and potentially a break to the all-time high now. It looks like it's pretty strong. It has failed to get down to a low. It's done all it needed to do in September, obviously, but now we can see that potentially the momentum is going to kick in and push it up higher. There's certainly a lot of momentum in the direction now. So realistically, probably the 56.50 would be my first target, and then probably that 5700 if we break to an all-time high. So if we see a series of higher highs and higher lows on the smaller time frames, we're just going to continue on with that momentum and look for those previous highs and also a new all-time high. So hope everyone's had a great week's trading. We've had some really good levels hit. Hopefully you're able to take advantage of some of those. Have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.